Now today's One Piece video is a special video, guys. It's a collab video with my guy Pharaoh, who I've known in the community for a very long time, like since the beginning of making my YouTube channel back in 2015, 2016 days. And which, I'll be honest with you, we're going to be talking about the new Yonko. And if this video gets 1,000 likes, I'll do more collabs with big One Piece YouTubers. If you guys want that, get this video to 1,000 likes for more collabs with One Piece YouTubers. But if talking about the Yonko and the new Yonko, you have to think about things that have happened in the story. Like in chapter 698, Law discusses how Yonko work and pretty much says how they work like a big crime syndicate and they all govern a certain area, and pretty much Doflamingo is that biggest dealer in a sense, and his biggest client is Kaido. So pretty much explaining a little bit how the Yonko system runs the new world in a more detailed scenario, because when we first got introduced to the Yonko, Monkey D. Garp kind of did the same thing and saying, do you even know what kind of pirate Red Hair is, to Monkey D. Luffy, and telling Luffy how pretty much the new world is run by the emperors, the Yonko, Whitebeard, Shanks, Big Mom, and Kaido. And this is like our first time getting introduced to the concept of the Yonko. Now I do want to say this, Yonkos have been always mentioned when it comes to hype. Like King Elizabello's punch, the King's punch, is hyped up by saying it can be taken out even a Yonko. The King's punch can take out a Yonko, guys. That's crazy. Or when Peckham pretty much faints, when Monkey D. Luffy tells him that Mama is going to be under him, like Big Mom's going to be under him, and he's like, yo, Mama is an empress. She's one of the 4 emperors. Are you crazy, Luffy? Like, what's wrong with you? And Luffy replies, yeah. And then he's like, yeah, that's, how do you know? Pretty much Peckham talks about all the things that they can pretty much bribe Sanji with, and he's like, how do you know that? And he's like, yo, do you not know how the true power of a Yonko? Like, pretty much that they run everything. Their power is so great, they can know everything about your entire life. So I just want to say, this is enough of me talking about the new Yonko. I think I should let Pharaoh, my guy Pharaoh, talk about the new Yonko and let him discuss it, because this video is going to be one of my most fire videos on the channel, guys. The way this video is pretty much greatness. But before I give it to Pharaoh, make sure you guys turn on notification, hit the like button. 1,000 likes is the goal, and of course subscribe to the channel. We're so close to 100k subscribers, but like I said, hit that, of course, bell, turn on notifications. The biggest thing, guys.
I think it's fair to say that the era of the worst generation is finally here. Well, specifically post Wano anyways. Now, normally I wouldn't know if this would happen if this was just the fall of one emperor as opposed to 2 emperors falling, because I don't think one emperor falling would necessarily cause the downfall of an era. When you have multiple, I think it's very reasonable to say that, especially when you have 2 emperors from the same era falling at the same time. Shanks is somewhat new to this, so I don't know if he's classified in the same era as Big Mom and Kaido. But these 2 falling down here definitely changes the tone of this era into a new one that is the age of the worst generation. And of course, with the defeat of the emperors, those who defeated them will get more fame and recognition, and that's definitely what's in store for the Supernova trio as of right now, because these 3 are the cream of the crop of their generation. And of course, you can add in Blackbeard in there as well, but Blackbeard is sort of an anomaly within these guys. But when it comes to rising up and going up against the enemy, these 3 are unmatched. Kid has always been actively going up against the Yonkos, just like Luffy, and Law on the other hand had other storylines that he had to deal with, but it also involved the takedown of a Yonko. In fact, Law was actually the person who proposed the plan to Luffy in the first place, and here we're seeing the culmination of their actions and their goals finally being filled, even though it didn't start out as they originally intended it to be. There's been twists and turns over the course of the journey thus far, and honestly, it's amazing to see how far these guys have come. The goal to defeat Kaido started 9 years ago in Punk Hazard, and I think we're just a few months away from that happening. The setup, the build up, the journey thus far has been incredible, to say the least, and I am here for all of it. Now, One Piece chapter 1039 is definitely one for the books. The action sequence between Law and Kid versus Big Mom was some of the best I think we've seen in the story so far, and honestly, that's expected given the individual that they are fighting is a Yonko. But the combination effort between these 2 is something that I really enjoyed, even though we were giving Kid, a lot of criticism in terms of the moves that he was using. He was still putting in work, from the awakening to Law's hacksness, and seeing those 2, even though very incompatible in terms of personality, they still work something out. And of course, you gotta give massive credit to Law here, because he is easily one of the MVPs of this arc, if not the main MVP, just because this man has done so many things that has been very subtle, but in the grand scheme of things has essentially helped the Alliance win. Without Law, this wouldn't have played out how it should have, right? But I think you can also say that for everyone else. It's just that Law is more valuable as a team player than anyone else, if that makes any sense. But as great as this chapter was, it does raise some questions in terms of Big Mom being defeated or not, as that would be indicative of what comes next. Now, usually I'd like to think Big Mom is defeated here, just in context of Law's speech, how the final blow was delivered. Everything just felt like it was going to be over for Big Mom. But I'm not entirely sure, just because she has some storylines that are sort of incomplete. So it gives you the idea that Oda might have more in store for her. On top of the fact that she essentially has everything, unlike Kaido, who's about to lose everything. She still has her crew. She still has territory and influence. So even though she gets defeated here, she can still recover. But her defeat here definitely signifies something even greater, in which her reputation as a Yonko might disappear due to this loss. And that can trickle down to all kinds of things. And things that would be attributed to people that defeated her, in this case, Law and Kid specifically. Obviously, Luffy's name is also attached to this as well, because again, when it comes to these kind of things, Luffy's name is always attached with him being sort of the ringleader of all of this, right? But as far as Big Mom's defeat goes, it's very obvious that the majority of it will be going to Kid and Law, as we do know that CP0 is currently here and surveying things, and obviously they're going to relay that information back to HQ, and bounties will get an increase. But with Big Mom going down here, this could possibly result in Kid and Law gaining more members on your crew. And I say this because when it comes down to Kaido's crew, we have to realize that it is a crew that has a system based on meritocracy, right? In which strength is viewed in the highest regard. And so if you have individuals come up here, storm the headquarters and defeat an equal to the captain, I think that's definitely going to make people follow you, because you are the stronger person, right? I feel like there's a possibility that Ulti and Page 1 might join Kid's crew here, depending on how things progress in this arc, because we have to realize that once Kaido is done with, everyone on his crew is essentially going to disband or be arrested. That's the only two options that the Beast Pirates do have, but a possible third option is them joining the crew of the people or the individuals that beat their captain or an equal to their captain, right? And so I think it's possible that we might see some of them joining either Law or Kid's crew. Now, normally I would say Luffy as well, but Luffy is very picky on who he wants in his crew, and I doubt that he would allow anyone from the Beast Pirates join his crew, but that's not necessarily the same case for a crew like Kid's. So that's something I can see bolstering the crews of Kid and Law. Specifically Kid, because he has Conqueror's Haki, so he has that innate natural leader quality that people would be attracted to, even though we haven't seen that from him yet. For Law, I'm not sure how things are going to trickle down for him, because it seems like he has a new goal in store now, because we do know that he is interested in the poneglyph stuff, and he does want to know the truth about the D, and I think sometimes we do forget that he is a part of the D clan as well, so he is very important to the overarching storyline in One Piece. But obviously one of the more exciting things though is post Wano, because Luffy, Kid, and Law are going to be regarded on a whole different level from a world perspective, in which they will most likely be recognized not as new Yonkos, but as sort of the new overlords of the new world. Now, the reason why I don't say Yonko is because I feel like two of them getting defeated here completely breaks the system, and I did make a video on this. If you guys do want to check that out, links will be in the description. But essentially in that video, I give reasons as to why two Yonkos going down at the same time creates a hole that cannot be filled anymore, and thus will lead to more chaos and destruction. But in turn, it also kind of makes the Marines a much more powerful enemy, as they increasingly become a more united force in the One Piece world. But overall, I don't think the Yonko system will exist after Wano, just because things are just not going to be the same. Given that there's this two massive holes in the system now, it's just going to crumble apart. And we do know that the world government, specifically the Gorosei, don't plan on stabilizing the system anymore, and they just want to get rid of it completely. So it works in their benefit as well. But I feel like the news that we're going to get post Wano is going to be the best out of any other in-betweens that we've had between arcs before, just because this one actually culminates in something happening. The other ones, for the most part, are seemingly just setups as to what is to come, but here we actually got something done in Wano, which is defeat two emperors. And I think post Wano will show us something in actuality, where this build up that we've had previously has finally taken shape. So that's going to be exciting because taking down 2 emperors is massive. We do also have to take time into perspective here as well. We don't necessarily know what has happened in the outside world in these weeks that we've been in Wano. I forget how much time we've been in Wano, but I believe it's like a couple of weeks to maybe a month now. So I think we're going to get big news on reveals of things that has happened, you know, like Sabo and Dragon, what happened to that scenario, Blackbeard and whatever business he had with the Marines, with some sort of power that he was chasing, you know, the possible reveal of Green Bull, which a lot of people think he might come to Wano. We're not sure yet. You know, the situation with the warlords, how individuals like Boa Hancock and Mihawk are doing. You know, there is a lot going on, and honestly it might be the best transition chapters we will get thus far. So again, I'm really excited for this. But back to you, Mac.
Thank you, Pharaoh. Now, let me actually talk about a little bit more stuff with the new Yonko before I actually end this video, because you guys all want to hear probably my thoughts on the new Yonko and what's going to go on. So I want to say this. Chapter 903 was kind of the beginning of the pretty much new Yonko finally being an idea that Ichiro Oda is pretty much telling us, and no more theorizing, no more speculation. We see Luffy pretty much challenge Big Mom. This is the first time that Big Mom's been challenged in decades. He has 5,000 followers. He has 2 legendary brothers in Ace and Sabo. He pretty much led on the spot the Fire Tank Pirates, the Sun Pirates, and Germa, the evil Germa 66. Like Capone and Jinbei and Judge are all legendary respected people in the One Piece story. Now I do want to say the fact that he beat Karakura, the fact that he beat Katakuri, 2 top dogs when it comes to the 800 million and 1 billion berry bounties. This is Big Mom's top dogs. He is most definitely the 5th emperor. That's how much hype they gave to, of course, Luffy. Now I do want to say this, the Yonko reaction to, of course, Luffy's new bounty, 1.5 billion berry, was incredible. It was a moment that shook the entire fan base. Now, as the One Piece story has expanded, we've seen change in the admirals. We've seen change in the world lore system with the SSG now taking its place. I think it's time that we see a great change in the Yonko. And there's 2 spots open after Kaido and Big Mom's fall. There's a new era coming, and Luffy's a guaranteed has a spot. Now, I believe Eustass Kid and Law, they both deserve to be Yonkos. But if there was a choice I had, I wouldn't mind Kid and Law joining forces and becoming like an alliance in a sense, where they actually both be their crews combined. Like Kid, Law, Killer would be an amazing crew. Like Kid, Law, Killer, that's a crazy top 3. That's a monster trio in itself. Killer took out Hawkins, and Kid and Law took out Big Mom. So the combining of these powerful characters, both awaken Kid and Law, it will be an epic crew and a very challenge that they face Luffy right before Laugh Tale. That would be intense. But definitely want to say, of course, it's more likely that Law will actually join Luffy's crew than actually joining Kid's crew. But Law likes to be a captain himself, and I definitely want to say easily makes, in my personal opinion, I feel like the fact that the Kid wants to get the One Piece and Law pretty much wants, in a sense, just to learn the Will of D. Kid is more likely to have the ambition to get that Emperor spot because of he went up against Red Air, lost his arm. He went up against Big Mom and got sent back, but got what he needed by defeating a Sweet Commander, injuring a Sweet Commander. We know he went up against Kaido now, like, and now he's going up against Big Mom and defeating Big Mom. Like, Kid has done so many crazy Yonko-related stuff. I think he would be taking the spot of new Emperor. But that's my thoughts. I love reading you guys' comments. Like I said, like and share if you enjoy. Like and share only if you enjoy. Subscribe for more One Piece content. I'm the Legend Mac. Thank you, Farrah, for coming on the channel. And we are gone.